Was Lazarus actually the beloved disciple? If you've read or studied the Gospel of John, you are probably familiar with this character called the beloved disciple, or the disciple whom Jesus loved. And it's believed by most people, I think, and this has kind of been the thought throughout most of Christian history, that the disciple whom Jesus loved is John the Apostle, but also that this disciple, and therefore John, is the author of the Gospel of John. However, scholars have argued before that the beloved disciple is not John the Apostle, but actually Lazarus. And the reason is because, first, that the phrase, the disciple whom Jesus loved, is not something that shows up throughout the entirety of John's gospel, but only shows up about halfway through, so the second half of the gospel. And it only appears after Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. Second, Lazarus is the only character in John's gospel who it is explicitly said that Jesus loves. And we actually get at least 3 times that the gospel tells us that Jesus loves Lazarus. This has also been used to explain at the end of John's gospel, there's this weird saying about how people thought that the beloved disciple would never die. And the reason for that might be because he was raised from the dead. If the disciple was raised from the dead, as Lazarus was, then it might make sense that some people believed that he would never die again. Now, this has been a belief held by only a few scholars, so it's not a prominent thing. And it's actually not what I believe. I think that John the Apostle makes the most sense to be the disciple whom Jesus loved. But it's an interesting argument and an interesting thing to think about. And it simply raises the fact that we don't know for sure who this disciple is. And it's also even less clear whether or not he was actually the one who wrote the gospel.